What is up, NFC West football fans, and welcome into another edition of the NFC West Roundtable powered by BetUS. Week 14 is in the books. Tonight we recap. And if you couldn't tell, I am not in the ZBot studios. Luckily for me, I don't have to look at the Bills gear that's normally behind me to remind me of what I witnessed on Sunday. And speaking of witness, I am currently in the witness protection program, much like the Buffalo Bills defense was on Sunday. We'll be talking about that game versus the Rams this evening. We'll also talk about the showdown between the Cardinals and the Seahawks, and the Niners finally getting back on track against the Chicago Bears. That's all coming your way tonight on the recap episode of the NFC West Roundtable. Without further ado, let's bring in the boys. Jake, who I know is feeling good. Mike, not feeling so good. Brandon, he's feeling good. Jesse, he's feeling good. Mike, everybody's feeling good tonight besides us. At least you had me to share the pain with, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you for being on your Z-Ball. And Brandon said it perfectly. I'm over here looking like the Unabomber, man. It's not a good time to be a Cardinal fan. It's brutal right now. I'm already doing mock drafts 1.0. Check it out.
Oh.
I hear it. Oh, man. It's already mock draft season for Mike. That's all right. Listen, the Seahawks, they earned it. They got it done, as did everybody else in this room besides you and me, Mike. So like I said, I feel your pain tonight, and I'm right there with you. Before we dive into all the games, fellas, let's go and dive in, as we always do, to the updated lines to win the NFC West on BetUS. And we finally have a team that has emerged from plus money into minus money territory, fellas. Right now on BetUS, the Seattle Seahawks are minus 120 to win the division, but it's still close. The Rams, who have come back from the depths of hell, it was about a month ago where these Rams were at plus 1,600 to win it. They've slashed that by 1,000. They're at plus 160 right now with the second best odds. The Cardinals at plus 750. The Niners at plus 1,800. So still great odds on all of these teams available heading into Week 15. If you want to get in on it, do so using the promo code YouTube150. That'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus, up to $2,000 on your first deposit, and 125% bonus on your next two after that. All right, boys, let's start with in the division. Let's talk about the showdown between the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. These two teams met just a couple of weeks ago, and we knew that this game was going to have a playoff-type vibe in terms of how it was going to set the stage moving forward towards winning the West. And it felt like it was a must-win for Arizona after dropping the game to Seattle a couple of weeks ago. This time around, they do the same, even though it was at home. Kyler Murray, 2 interceptions in this one, and the Seahawks were just too much to handle. 30-18, the final. Seattle improves to 8-5, still atop of the division, and as you just saw, because of that, have the best odds to win it. So, Brandon, you're looking good in those shades, man. These Seahawks are looking real good, too. Talk to me about what you saw against Arizona on Sunday.
You got a team coming together at the right time of year. They give you another complete team victory here where it isn't one side holding up the rest. It's everybody working together, which you want to see. Your offense actually finds a running game for the first time this year to the degree they did. I mean, Zach Charbonnet had a career best day, but it wasn't just because he was going goat style or ham. It was because you were actually opening up holes. And I'll tell you what, boys, the counter gap scheme, we found a running play that works, and it's a beautiful one at that. Just a pile of men you send in one direction and then a back behind them, and you put a hard to tackle back behind them, and it can be tough to stop that play. And what was beautiful about it, Z-Bot, was the best part. We gave the Cardinals their own poison, their own medicine. It's what they like to run. It's their whole running scheme is based upon largely this and read option, and we gave it right back to them all game long and dominated with it as a running game, including a 50-plus yarder. But you want a team like this that's nobody is on anybody's radar as far as being a potential contender this year. And if you're going to be that team to get to contending state by the end of the year, you want that team to be at its healthiest, and you want to be playing their best ball, because they're not going to be one of the juggernaut-like teams of a Detroit or a Philly that's been there and won their playoff games, has their pelts on the wall. You're not to that stage, but if you are wanting to get to that stage, that's what they're showing, and that's what they showed in this game. So they took it to this Cardinal team. I think they did a couple weeks ago as well. The Cardinal team was amped up to win this game. They were desperate. They wanted it, but they weren't able to stand up to where this defense and this team is at overall.
The defense right now, Brandon, it's been the highlight of this team as of late. But talk to me a bit about the efficiency of this offense, because Geno Smith, a very productive day, and then, of course, Charbonnet, dominant on the ground. So when you're seeing an offensive production like that matched with what this defense is becoming, your overall thoughts right now heading into the most important part of the season seeing that efficiency and then also realizing the defense is better than it's been all year.
Yeah, with the defense, this is performance after performance. It must have been something your Buffalo Bills did to rattle their cage and get them right, or the addition of these linebackers, whatever they've done. But these past 5 games, they've been in a dominant place. They only have given up over 20 points in that stretch of games, even though I know that they had a kick return touchdown and interception over there. So they're just doing what you kind of hope they could with the talent you thought they had. They were going with McDonald's.
Is his audio off for anybody else? Yep. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It sounds like he's really, underwater.
Really yeah.
I'm underwater right now?
Better.
No, you're not. That was weird.
Is that better? Better now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Better
yeah.
now.
Okay. Well, my bad, guys. Sorry. I don't know what happened.
You're good.
So it's coming together. Offensively, I've said to you guys, look at what can happen with Geno if you can keep him clean and give him a running game. He's doing what he's doing without that. This game, you gave him this first real consistent running game from end to end that you have throughout this year, and he wasn't hit by any. He was not sacked at all, so he was kept clean in the pocket as well. So he could play a very efficient game. It's not that he threw for a lot of yards, but 24 of 30, well in control. He checked even the run play that's the 50-yarder is him audibling it and reading the Arizona Cardinal blitz and where it was coming from. He audibled to that play to create the run that happened there, which is part of what he does from the neck up that I often laud him for and try to give him credit for. So this is what part of what he brings to his game is that he's got that kind of control at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't need a coach to tell it to him in his ear. He can see it and recognize it on the fly.
Mike, talk to me, because I know this is a tough one to swallow because of what the Cardinals looked like about a month or so ago. Winners of 4 straight, and they're coming into this sequence where they had their divisional games lined for them. The way Kyler was playing, the way that they were playing collectively, it felt like they were the team to beat in the West just about a month or so ago. And now here we are, losers of 3 straight, 2, of course, coming against these Seahawks. And now it's gone from looking like you had a real good chance to take it to looking upward. So where are you at now, having a second crack here? And I know we talked about Kyler last week.
Yep.
Needed to see a big game from him. 2 interceptions in this game. So your big takeaway from what you saw against Seattle.
Being a Cardinal fan is rough, man. It's where you get hope and then you just completely get just shitted on year in and year. It's so tough, man. But this game, just in general, okay, let's talk about this. It was hard for the Cardinals to even be in this game when you blinked and you were already throwing 2 interceptions. We've all been saying this, and one thing here is that a lot of people don't like for me to say, but like this defense, to me, has outperformed what they probably should have done with the pieces that we have on this roster. The offense put this defense in a bad position to be in a hole, 17-7 in a blink of an eye, with Kyler Murray throwing back-to-back picks and absolute boneheaded mistakes. Kyler Murray said that he saw Ernest Jones there and still decided to throw the damn ball. The next interception, he still throws it to Marvin Harrison Jr., which is a good read, but a bad throw. But overall, man, this is, I don't know, it almost just kind of feels like Groundhog Day for Cardinal fans. And it's unfortunate because it's not all on Kyler. That's one thing I'm definitely going to say. It's not all on Kyler, but you expect your franchise quarterback to get you these wins. And it's not just one crack at it, right? We had 2 cracks at the Seattle Seahawks in 3 weeks, and we just couldn't get it over the hump. And just like the week or the other time that we played them, that pick 6 was crucial, and it was a mistake by your franchise quarterback. So yeah, you needed this win to try to stay within the division race. I know I said it earlier on the intro. I'm already looking at mock drafts. It almost kind of feels like even if we go 7-8 wins, like it's okay. I guess it is what it is. I don't want to hear any positivity from any of you guys. I really don't. Please don't even tell me, oh, this is a good season. Stop it. I'm not. Spare me. Like let me wallow my misery right now, because with what we had attained in our hands, it almost feels like double the amount of getting stabbed. Just stab. It's rough, man. But overall, the Seahawks did whatever the hell they wanted. Like, honestly, the Seahawks did whatever the hell they wanted. Defensively, offensively, Charbonnet. And I made a video the day prior with Kenneth Walker. And it was truly like Kenneth Walker who, because they didn't skip a beat. They didn't skip a beat. Their run game was absolutely magnificent. And everything they did was, let's just put it this way. The Cardinals fan base, or myself, I never felt like the Cardinals were ever going to be in this game, or at least going to catch up. There was a moment, there was a slight sliver of hope when Chad Ryland missed that field goal, but even then, like, this offense is still displaying the exact same things over and over again from the beginning of the season to now. The clunkiness of what this offense is very, very unfortunate. I don't get why this connection is not at least 80%, 85% down with Kyler and Marvin. Don't 100% understand it, but we're right back here in the 3rd spot, 6-7. just above the 49ers, but everybody's starting to kind of hit a streak, right, of getting better, and we're kind of seeming like we're, going the other way, regressing. So it's not a good place to feel. It sucks. Very, very rarely do we have a chance to puff our chest out, but it's draft season from here on. That's all I got to say.
Mike, obviously the Seahawks score 30 in this game, but the two prior, you hold the Vikings to 23, you hold Seattle to 16. This offense for the Cardinals, though, incapable of getting over 22 points in 3 consecutive games. You just kind of mentioned it. You're not entirely sure why it's not clicking between Harrison and Kyler. You're not exactly sure what the problem is, but in your mind, your takeaway from what you've seen, what do you think visually stands out to you as something that is hindering them from being able to put up enough points to win these games?
Honestly, I have an inkling of what I think the issue is. The issues are everywhere. Like, it's everywhere. Offensive line completely going behind the chains, mainly being a dink and dunk offense. And whenever we put ourselves, behind the chains, you can almost promise that you're going to get a run. You can promise you can get a dink and dunk little throw to your running back. We don't have big chunk plays that are going to be executed. Now, it's crazy because we actually started off, the very first touchdown was a magnificent throw from Kyler Murray to Michael Wilson, but that's an anomaly. That's an anomaly of what this offense is. We don't do things like that, unfortunately, consistently. So we can never get the timing down. To me, on my channel, I know there's a lot of fans coming at me, just like obviously Jesse with Brock Purdy. Kyler Murray's not getting the job done, point blank. I think when I'm looking back at the film, there's some obvious things that are being missed. Even Kurt Warner had a breakdown about 3 weeks ago and saying that there's plays that need to be made. Actually, it's been probably about a month and a half ago now. There's plays that need to be made out there. It's just, I don't like talking about the height jokes or the COD jokes, because obviously to me as a Cardinal fan, they get annoying. But honestly, I have a real big concern with Kyler Murray potentially not being able to see over the line, especially when you got those drag routes, especially when you got those slant routes. It almost kind of seems like Kyler Murray doesn't see them, because we had a chance to convert a third down to get momentum, and Kyler Murray decides to chuck the ball over to Marvin Harrison Jr., and his response was, it was man coverage. I wanted to give him an opportunity. And he was like, in hindsight, I probably should have given it to Elijah or Dortch. It's just the same mistakes that we're seeing over and over again for the past 6 years. And honestly, it's getting to the point where it's just really, really frustrating, because we're going to have him back in next year because of his contract. It's just, I don't know. I think we're just kind of realizing the spot that we're stuck. You know what I mean? And it sucks. It's not a good place to be.
So you feel like you're in that quarterback purgatory, where it's kind of like you signed the Tua and you're not sure if that's ever going to be good enough, but it's well enough to get you to where you guys are at right now. And a lot of people think that that's a real bad spot to be, because you're never bad enough to get maybe the next generational quarterback, but you're never good enough to make a real run. Is that where you see them at right now, or do you see a glimmer of hope that it can be better?
I mean, I'm not sure if it's because Tua has obviously Hill and Waddle. Number-wise, I always felt like Tua number-wise has always outperformed Kyler. I mean, Kyler Murray right now has got, 17 touchdowns, 8 to 9 interceptions. Like, he's never exceeded 4,000 yards ever, and every time he's always flirting around the 20 touchdown mark, and he's probably trending into only getting like 20 touchdowns through the air this year. So like when I look at the numbers, I don't know, man, like it's tough. I think we're all kind of having a hard pill to swallow, because although everybody in the fan base saying this is year two, chill out, I don't know. I'm looking at this long term. And I don't know. I just don't see Kyler Murray ever winning us either A, the division, or B, the Super Bowl. And of course, that's very, very disheartening. Now, yes, we got a lot of cap space next year. We got draft picks, but at the end of the day, man, it's a little bit purgatory. I guess it feels a little bit like that. I guess that's a good way to describe it.
Well, 2 good opportunities to bounce back coming up for you. You got New England, and then you got Carolina. So we'll see if Arizona can bounce back and then maybe make things interesting towards the end here. Fellas, you know what I'm not seeing in the chat tonight? And I can't believe I haven't. Well, I can believe it, actually. You know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen the word Lyle once. And that might have to do with the fact that the Lyle-led San Francisco 49ers got back on track in dominant fashion against a recently head coach fired Chicago Bears. You're thinking maybe they get that dead cat bounce from letting Eberflus go. There was a dead cat. It never bounced. This is a team that went into the half with, 2 all-purpose yards to the Niners 300 plus. This was domination to the nth degree. Brock Purdy, a terrific game, 20 of 25, 325 and 2 scores. Once again, the 49ers find a way to run the ball with anybody, and they proved that again on Sunday. And then they hold Caleb Williams to 134 yards, DeAndre Swift to 38. This team didn't come close to sniffing 200 yards of total offense. Jesse, those shades you got on are massive. This was a massive W in terms of what we saw on the field against the Chicago team that a week prior, they showed they can hang with the Detroits of the world. So it wasn't like this was a gimme. Niners roll. Talk to me about how this was so different than the Bills game and the Packers game the 2 weeks leading into it.
Yeah, well, I actually picked the Bears to win. I thought that they would, you fire your coach, everybody's happy about it. We've seen teams do this before. I think one thing that none of us accounted for, though, is that Eberflus was their defensive play caller. And as bad of a head coach as he may have been, he obviously was scheming things up pretty well on defense, because what they did on defense had no semblance to what they had been doing in prior weeks, which actually was showing to be a good defense. And they just sat back and played soft zones, and that's exactly what the 49ers thrive in. So it worked out really well. But this was the best game that the 49ers had played all year. Now, temper expectations. It was the Chicago Bears. I don't think it's time to celebrate. And oddly enough, the 49ers had a 7% chance to win the division before this week's games were played. They won, and those chances went down to 4%. So even though they won, the Rams winning and the Seahawks winning pretty much drove the nail into the coffin. Now, obviously, we'll see how things go this week. If the 49ers do find a way to win out, then that ups their chances to 59% of making the playoffs. But really, most of that opportunity comes outside of the division. It really is that wild card spot. If they can win out, maybe the Washington Commanders go 2-2. They own the tiebreakers there. Falcons and so forth. So, yes, great win. It was nice to see that the 49ers have a little bit of life left. They absolutely executed on all levels. Like I said, the most complete game we've seen from them all season. And it was a little reminiscent of 2023 Niners, but also a little disappointing because, to me, yes, injuries get in the way. Yes, they've had some tragic things happen off the field. Nobody is doubting that or taking away from that. But my whole thing has been, it doesn't matter about all those things. Regardless of who's on the field, you can show effort, you can show creativity, and they hadn't been doing those things. And this week they did, and you saw the results. So it's like, you're happy in one sense, but in the other sense, you're frustrated going, where the hell has this been all season? The creativity from Shanahan and the running game was unlike what we've seen for a majority of this year. The execution, the effort, everything was all there. And you saw that they were able to put it together. This week, we'll see how it goes against the Rams. But right now, yeah, it does feel good. Although, short week, this thing may be short-lived. But I'm excited to see this week's game. I think, at the very least, winning gives me excitement to watch this game on Thursday instead of okay, can we finish off the season already? There's something to look forward to, at least for one more week.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering from you, because they looked about as good as they have all year, and now you go into that short week against the Rams, who looked as good as they have looked all year. So say on Thursday night, the Niners look similar to what they looked like on Sunday. Now, you're not anticipating a 38-13 blowout because it's a divisional battle, but let's say that they show signs of what they showed Sunday and they win. Where's the mentality? Because I know that stretch at the end is tough, but where are you at then? And where do you foresee yourself being at then as opposed to where you were probably about 2 weeks ago or so?
I mean, it's still hard to believe that anything can seriously happen. I mean, even if they beat the Rams, I'll just throw out a few scenarios. If they beat the Rams, and let's say they go undefeated, they run the table. If the Rams win the final 3 games, they still own the tiebreaker versus the 49ers. And that schedule is pretty easy outside of Seattle. But here's the bad thing. If Seattle goes 2-2 and beats the Rams and the 49ers go undefeated, they own the tiebreaker. So they really need a lot of things to have even a chance to win this division. They've got to have the Rams beat Seattle, but also lose somehow to the Jets or the Cardinals. I don't see that happening. So it's yes, all of this is great, but why the hell did it take so long? It's not like they're getting uber healthy coming into this game or last game. It's just the effort and the schemes. Everything changed, man. It was so much better than what it's been. And they just ultimately too little too late is the feeling that I will get.
Yeah, it sounds like the Bills kind of screwed you in more ways than one, right? Beating the Niners and then losing to the Rams. I'm seeing a bunch of that in the chat here. I apologize to everybody. You don't think I wanted that damn game?
You had one
Let's
job.
talk about that damn
One
game.
job.
I know you would have had a 2-game lead, Seattle, or I called you Seattle, Brandon. I literally just referred to you as Seattle.
You guys messed up the game. I'm not surprised. So
Seattle.
Seattle would have had a
That's amazing.
2-game cushion if the Bills D would have just decided to play mediocre defense. But they said, hey, let's take the day off. We're out in sunny Cali. Why don't we let Matt Stafford and the boys just run amok? And that's exactly what happened. Despite a career-high 6 touchdowns from the MVP, 3 on the ground, 3 in the air, it did not matter. Puka Nacua looked like Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson had a child and put him out on SoFi Stadium's field on Sunday afternoon. What a game, highest scoring game of the year, and no turnovers for either team. The first time in NFL history both teams score 40-plus without turning the ball over. What a crazy game this was. Came all the way down to the wire, and the Rams end up taking it. They go into this game 6-6, and we had talked about this, Jake. And you and I had talked about this personally. We had said, what's up with the Rams offense? Because when you look at them personnel-wise, there's no reason to have a scoreless half against the Saints. There's no reason to not get into the end zone against the Dolphins. Well, what we saw on Sunday is exactly what you would think you'd see more consistently from Stafford, Kupp, Puka, Kyron Williams, an offensive explosion. They looked like they could go to the Super Bowl with that type of offense on Sunday. So, Jake, talk to me. This is everything you guys have been waiting for, and you got it on a silver platter Sunday afternoon against a team that was vying for the 1 seed in that same situation.
It just took 14 weeks to see it, right? This was the vision. Now, I'm not going to sit here and walk back my prediction. I had them losing 34-24 to the Buffalo Bills. I thought going into this game, they're going to lose this game and they're going to win out. And now, well, let's go back a little bit. Remember I said on this show, I said they're not going to beat the Bills, but if they beat the Bills, they're going to go on an effing tear. That's what I said. They're going to. And I know, people have caught on. I mean, I backed off a little bit of the Super Bowl talk for sure, but at no point were they really ever fully healthy until really the Saints game. And people look at that first half and they're like, you didn't even score points. There's so much for getting healthy. Well, in the second half, when the offensive line started to gel together, they scored 3 times in the red zone, something they've really struggled to do this year. And since that second half, this is the offense that we've seen. And I don't think the Bills necessarily, their defense is entirely to blame. Sean McVay was calling a game that we haven't seen since they won the Super Bowl. I need people to understand this. That Vikings game, while it was fun, and they scored 30, the only time they had done it up until this point, impressive and all, he was not play calling like he did in that. In that game, see, it's not as simple as just, going deep down the field all the time and, no, mixing up your pitches. I've said over and over again, this team needs to bring back the jet motions, the jet sweeps, the end arounds, the slip screens, the bubble screens. They have to let Kyron Williams and Blake Corum carry the rock. They need to continue to run when it works. They sometimes have to continue to run even when it doesn't work. They have to continue to use play action. They did that. But here's the deal. The Rams are 10-1 in December when Matthew Stafford is their quarterback. And there's a reason for that. Matthew Stafford in the second half of every season he's been a part of for the Rams has just gone on an absolute bender. He's just been incredible. He's honestly right now the number 2 quarterback in the league behind Josh Allen. Right now, as it stands, the 2 best quarterbacks in the National Football League played on Sunday. Okay? I'm not saying he's better than Patrick Mahomes over the scope of a season or 2 seasons. But as of right now, who are you taking over these 2 quarterbacks? You're only taking 1 quarterback if you're a Rams fan over Matthew Stafford. That's Josh Allen. But these 2 guys, that was a juggernaut. And the Rams went toe-to-toe with them. And I told you, Zeba, I told you when we collabed, I said, that is not how they're going to win this game. They're not going to win a shootout. They're going to win a 24-21 ball game. Well, they proved me wrong. But in a way, they proved me right. This is why, coming into the season, I had this team winning the Super Bowl. If this is the offense we get the rest of the way, they'll be doing that.
I didn't see it either, Jake. You and I talked. I didn't know where – it's weird how this game went. I thought the Bills would score points. I didn't think it would be through Josh Allen doing what he did. I thought they would run the ball. They unfortunately didn't have the ability to do that after the block punt because you're chasing a 2-score lead the rest of the way. But they score points in a different way. The Rams, I didn't see where they were going to get points other than Kyron Williams pounding the rock. Now, he did. He ran it 29 times, but he didn't surpass 100 yards. This was Matt Stafford, and I'm glad you made a point that a lot of Bills fans don't want to listen to. The Bills' defense played terrible. But when you got Puka Nacua doing what he was doing and Matt Stafford throwing the ball the way he was throwing it, and that offensive line protecting him the way that they were protecting him, it was an all-around masterclass offensively. So from what you saw offensively in this game, do you think it was just an aberration because of how great it was, or do you think that there was something there that is going to be able to continue to ride them into an incredible run here to make the postseason in the end of December?
I think it's the latter. I mean, obviously, you have to win this weekend against this week against the 49ers on a short week. It's not easy to do. I don't care who you're talking about. I keep hearing trap game. No, it's not a trap game. Trap game would have to be a random team who's not good, who you don't have any familiarity with. And then the next week, you're going up against Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions. This is not a trap game. Everybody knows that they're playing the 49ers. And I've talked to some people. They know Deommodore Lenoir was running his mouth after they beat him in week 3. And we're well aware that game, everything had to go right for the Rams, 27-24. But let's not forget, in that game, they didn't have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. And Z-Bot, if the Rams have Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp as opposed to not having them, and you saw this Sunday, how big of a boost do you think just Puka Nacua is?
I was just going to say, if you took Puka out of that game, the Bills are winning that game. No question.
It's ridiculous. He's already a top 5 receiver. I know people will get into the semantics where, he's always on the move and they always have to motion him. I don't give a rip. Who else is the catches he's able to make? And, it's funny. People are like, did you see that Puka Nacua catch? Which one? Which one? He does this twice every single week. Did you just start watching? Number 17 is incredible. He's doing things that Justin Jefferson was doing. He's actually on Justin Jefferson's tail for most receiving yards, and I think it's the first 26 games. And now we start to say, it makes you wonder if Puka Nacua didn't miss 5 games, where is this team? And they lost a lot of one-possession games. So this is what I'm talking about. When you have Puka Nacua, you have Cooper Kupp, you have Kyron Williams, you have Matthew Stafford, and now Tyler Higbee. I don't think he'll play this week, but you'll get him back. The offensive line is humming, right? No sacks. Greg Russo did not have a pressure against Rob Havenstein.
They didn't sniff him. Oh, my God.
There you go. So for the first time all year, back-to-back games, they have the healthy, desired starting 5 offensive line. And I understand where people are going to go because injuries can't be an excuse because the Lions are dealing with all these injuries. Let me first challenge you with this. With the Rams, they've been pretty healthy on the defensive side. I mean, they did lose their number 1 corner before the season, Darius Williams and all that, and he came late. But for the most part, they've been pretty healthy. The offensive side, and I'll address Randall in a sec too because he says they have no defense. I also have a rebuttal for that. But let's start with this. Here's the thing I will say to Lions fans who are saying, why are you making excuses for injuries when we have injuries and we're blowing teams out? Because you have a baseline. You had a chance to go into the season with your starting 5 on your offensive line, your starting receivers, your quarterback, your defense, everything was intact. The Rams had their entire offensive line that was either banged up playing hurt. You had the suspension for Alaric Jackson, which we never found out why he was suspended, right? Puka Nacua goes down in the first quarter, right? Cooper Kupp gets hurt in the Cardinals game. They never had a baseline. They never had anything to build off of. They were building on the fly. So now, finally, 2 weeks in a row, they get the starting offensive line. For the most part, they have everybody healthy. And this is what they do? This is the second game with everybody healthy, and this is what they do to the Buffalo Bills? Yes, this is what happens. This is why it's, excuses. Yes, it's the reason. And to rebuttal that they don't have a defense, well, I'll tell you right now, you're not playing Josh Allen every week. You're not going to do it. This team averages more pressures per game than anybody in the league. And by the way, I thought the Bills had a good game against this defense up front. I don't like Jared Verse was dealing with an ankle. I think that really affected him, and I thought Deion Dawkins outplayed him. And I thought the Bills' offensive line was really good and kept Josh Allen clean for the most part. I know he had to keep, going out and running and whatever, but still, Zebot, I haven't seen many of these games, though, where an offensive line does that well against a Rams pass rush. And there's not many left on the schedule. I don't think the Jets are going to have any luck with that. I don't think the Cardinals will. I think Seattle might, potentially, because I think Geno's a really good pocket quarterback, can mitigate that. I don't think Brock Purdy played well against the Rams the last time. So I think he will do his thing this Thursday. But looking at that game, the 49ers didn't get to play Puka Nacua or Cooper Kupp, and most of their team was banged up, just like the Niners. They were absolutely injured, Jesse. We talked about it. They were banged up too. But right now, it's like there's a reason. I mean, Orlovsky was, way ahead on this and said the Rams could beat anybody. Florio was saying it. I brought it up the last show. The Lions don't want to face this team. Who wants to face this team? Like, really? Like, if you're a top seed in the NFC and you have to face this team, or even better, you're the Green Bay Packers and you're going to LA, you have to face them in the first round. You have a better record, but you're going to LA. You're going on the road. Say what you will. Yeah, they'll make it a 50-50 contest. I don't care. I would not want to face this team right now. And we're going to find out what they truly are over the course of time, to be fair. But I'm telling you right now, this is not a one-game wonder. This is what we expected coming into the season for them to be this potent on offense. And now for the first time all year, back-to-back weeks, they're healthy, and they do this. I think this is what the Rams are. We're going to just see how far this takes them. I think they're going to go all the way.
I want to touch just a little bit more on the defense, though, because I know it was Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this was, say they don't block that punt, this could have been a different game simply because of the Rams' defense, right? And it wasn't just, Josh Allen made some of the best throws that he's had all year in this game. And, of course, the scrambling was off the charts. But I go back to that Shakir touchdown, just wide open over the middle, Jake. They ran it all the way in. You give that Ty Johnson screen a look back. That's a 40-yard touchdown. No one touches him. Beyond the Josh Allen plays where you just throw your hands up, because I was doing that with Puka in this game. I'm like, you know what? Like that one on the sideline there. I mean, Benford could not have covered it better. You can't do much. When Allen puts you on ice skates, there's not a whole lot you can do. But when you looked at the multiple scores the Bills had that just felt like they were just wide open, is that something that you look at and think, because I'm bad at this, by the way. If the Bills would have won that game 44-42, Jake, I probably wouldn't have been talking about how the defense played so bad, because I'd be more elated about the win. So when you're looking at it through the hindsight here, outside of the Josh Allen spectacular plays, is there more cause for concern than maybe would meet the eye because the Rams ended up winning that game?
I get what you're saying. I definitely think it's fair. Like I said, the Rams never blow anybody out, so I think that does keep them in it. But I think a lot of those times, you look at that 4th and 15, the bailout call, that's a good call. It's a right call, right? The one on Quentin Lake, the pass interference call. But I feel like that's a coaching thing. Like, I don't know if, why, but like a lot of those guys, I think a lot of it's fixable. I'm hoping they look at the tape and they're like, look, play the ball, And there's only 2 guys in this secondary, with 3, I'd say, because I thought Cam Kinchins had a really good game. But 3 guys that will turn around and actually play the football. Look for it. That is Ahkello Witherspoon, Kobe Durant, who may or may not play this weekend with a lung contusion, and Cameron Kinchins. And so that is my concern, right? Because I want to see.
Who did you say has a lung contusion?
Kobe Durant.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'll say this. Kello gets a lot of hate, but when they put 4 over on that right side or that left corner, Josh looked right at him in the red zone and was like, nope. He wanted nothing to do with Ahkello Witherspoon. So say what you will. He's our best corner.
Will he be starting? Will he be starting if Durant's out?
I think so, yeah. If he doesn't start, then there's more to it than that. But
Wide
Darius Williams.
Wide zone run, pitch plays.
Darius Williams is my biggest concern right now. And I think a lot of Rams fans are starting to come around to what I was saying. Yes, he won a Super Bowl. That's great and all. We appreciate him, and he's a fan favorite. But he's been getting abused. You saw that. Number 24, Z-Bot. You saw number 24. They were abusing him. And so that's the thing that concerns me. The soft zone, talking about, Jesse mentioned with the 49ers. Yeah, I mean, that could be concerning against Brock Purdy for sure. That could be concerning against Geno Smith. But they're also a team that can make those opportune plays. And say what you will, but if I think they lose if they don't get that stop at the goal line. It was the first down, I think it was, or second down. They went for that QB sneak, and people are saying it's dumb. How is it dumb? I think they had it every time, so they had to get the stop, and it took tons of time off the clock. But say what you will, this defense at the end of every game has had to make a stop, and for the most part, they have. So I trust the defense as long as this offense is going to play at least half as good as what we saw against the Bills.
Huge win for the Rams, and they look to keep it going on Thursday, and I can't wait for that one. That one just got a hell of a lot more interesting, so it'll be fun to preview that later on in the week. But we're going to turn to your Super Chats, and as I do, I look up in the top left, 750 of you in with us right now. Incredible stuff. We appreciate all of you joining us. And speaking of appreciation, how about a round of applause for Megan, who I think is the biggest Super Chat of all time. Big shout out to Megan, and Megan's feeling good. She got that birthday win last week, and now this past Sunday, she got another W from her Seahawks, and Megan's coming in saying, sweeping a division rival and my brother's favorite teams has never, ever felt so sweet. Bragging rights are still mine, and while I hate heights, the view from the top of the division looks just fine, gents. Just hope it continues for the Green Bay game at home this week. That was a poem almost. That felt so eloquent. I like the I'm afraid of heights, but not the view I'm looking at from the top of the division. Glad you're enjoying it, Megan. I know the birthday, like I said, was last week. These Seahawks are the gift that keep on giving right now. Megan is the gift that keeps on giving. She's got another one for us, fellas. She's saying, and dare I say any Cards or Niners fans to match, or dare I
lay the gauntlet down,
Megan.
Gauntlet laid, gentlemen. What you guys got?
Oh, yeah.
Fighting
Yeah.
She's looking for the next $200 Lyle donation. So
Oh, my God.
Ball's in your court.
Lyle Mania.
Ruiz is saying he wants to know what Mike would sound like doing Christopher Walken.
Oh, God.
You got that in your bag there, Mike?
No, I do not. I'll leave that for Brandon.
Brandon, how about do Mike as Christopher Walken?
All right, I got you. Here we go. I don't know why God hates us. Is it because in a desert like him wandering? Maybe. Yes, I think so. We can't win. I look, trophy case, dust everywhere, just blowing dust. Who brought the damn tumbleweed? I didn't ask for that. No, we're never going to win. What is this for?
That was my favorite one yet.
That was the best one.
That was the best one, no doubt.
Brandon, I hate you.
Oh, God. Feed me more. Saying Z-Bot like hosting in the West, or rather, Z-Bot like hosting the West, or rather another division. I would have liked it a hell of a lot more tonight, Feed Me More, if we got that W. Because it was my final Infinity Stone, as I mentioned. You know how shitty it is to get the three others and not complete the quad? It sucks. You might as well have gotten none of them. So, no, this is great. I mean, I that was a hell of a game. I mean, I tried to look back because the Puka experience for me, like if I just kept saying, I wish that was against the Niners Thursday. No offense, Jesse. I just wish I could have appreciated it instead of just bitching at my TV the entire time.
And he can do it against the Niners too. I mean, this guy is just nonstop. He's a ball of the way it was described is he doesn't realize he's supposed to be careful with his body yet. You can tell he's a young player because the dude is just everything is a car accident waiting to happen the way he plays. He won't be like this in 6 years, I don't think, but I'm going to enjoy it now.
SoCal Rams coming in. He's saying, Jake, bring the fork for the Bills steak. We like a medium rare.
But I think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. Why am I bringing the fork?
Maybe we'll see him again, and you can bring the fork then. And
I don't want to see the Bills again. That never goes well. If you beat them in the regular season, you're going to lose to them in the postseason. We know how that works.
Yeah, that's why the Chiefs let the Bills beat them in the regular season every single year.
Yeah.
Here's Jaden saying, Cardinals fans no one's looking out for the Cardinals fans right now more than non-Cardinals fans. It seems like right now, Mike. They're very concerned for it.
True.
Oh, he is a Cardinals fan, though.
Oh, he is, yeah.
Jaden is a Cardinals fan. Well, I guess it's tough. The gap between what it was a month ago and now, it just feels like we didn't see it coming. That's why it's got to be so tough right now.
I mean, Jake did.
Go ahead, Mike.
But
Well, that's true.
What?
That's true.
I was like, Jake, Dev, yeah, we always crash and burn. You said you need to see us be consistent.
I'm sorry. I said after the bye, I was like, the bye's the worst thing. This team is hot. You don't want to give them time off, and it just hasn't gone well for them.
Yeah.
The real cheese, once again, not to be confused with the inauthentic cheese. The Bills had one job. Rams are the cockroaches of the division.
No, that's Seattle.
The Seahawks.
I think it's the Seahawks, yeah.
Seattle doesn't die.
I love that analogy, though, because it just feels like you can't get rid of them. Although on Sunday, the Bills couldn't get rid of the Rams' offense. They were certainly the cockroaches of the Bills' chances. They were the cockroaches of Josh Allen's historic performance, I guess is the best way to put it. Seth coming in, and he's saying the Seahawks are the dominant bird, Mike.
Yeah.
They're the
Not
dominant
even a
bird.
real bird.
Right. They still are.
Oh, man.
Something about the word Seahawk, though. It just sounds intimidating, I guess. After you win 2 over a Cardinal, it does sound like they are the more dominant bird. Dave's saying, "Sup, guys? Fire Lyle. Hope the Bills win it all."
Concise, to the point.
The periods after are my favorite, making sure we just go from one little sentence to the next. John, Brandon, can Christopher Walken tell us can he tell us which foul provided foul?
We walked into the nest like the dodo bird in Arizona. We took the little prey and we said, "Bye, Kyla. Bye, you other little bird." And then we laid our egg, and it's our home now. Look at the stadium, blue everywhere. No red, no sea, no red, just Seahawks.
Oh, man. The Cardinals are getting the full Christopher Walken experience tonight. Daryl's coming in. When I grow up, I want to be like Satoa Lumai. Am I saying that right?
So,
Is he playing now and playing good?
Oh, no. Jesse's going to lose his mind.
Yes, he is.
I loved LeMaya in the draft.
I'll do the pronunciation, by the way. It is
Well done.
He plays
Jesse,
like that. He gets all the syllables when he plays like that.
So guys, I think we need a new segment during draft season. Jesse's list that we know the 49ers aren't going to pick.
Yeah.
we just know.
Yeah, Jesse's guys. We
So
call it
Jesse's guys. There we go. We got Bo Limmer and Satoa Lameo.
And we'll play like
remix
instead of that song, Jesse's Girls. Jesse's guys.
Jesse's, I love that idea.
Always wanting them drafted. Yeah.
Is Kingston starting this week?
No, shut your mouth. All right. Okay. Calm down, bud. Jeez.
I actually was asking. I don't know if he plays or not.
He's not even on the team anymore.
What?
No, he didn't even make the roster. He's out of here.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm not forgetting that.
Tommy's saying the Fraudnals owned by Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Man.
Said Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
Oh, Geno Smith. Oh, either way. Even worse. Even worse. Megan, on a heater tonight. Megan saying, "Jesse, not used to you in the shades, brother." Damn. What a low-key dig there. Can you get Mr. Cosell to tell Mike and the Cards fans how good the view is from the top, please?
Damn.
Hey, I will say this. You should feel good, Seahawks fans, but I do think right now, when I look at that schedule and I look at the Rams schedule, the Rams, if they go 4-0, they win the division too. Like, this thing's it's tight. I know that I brought the fork out a week ago. I didn't expect them to beat the Bills. I got a little ahead of myself, maybe.
Yeah.
But listen, they got as good of a chance right now as the Seahawks do. So we'll see how this thing goes.
Eric's coming in. Lots of shades on the screen tonight, except those lesser birds.
Ooh.
Crazy what happens when the Seahawks get a run game, solid special teams, and great D. Everyone takes a chance to take a dig at the bird. Always. Defense, I know, it's killing me. Thank God they didn't show up against the Bills, Brand. That's all. It sounds like we gave you the gift of inspiring them, and we appreciate that you reciprocated it by giving us a W in that one, because the way that they're playing now, that feels like it would be a whole different ball game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Night and day difference, I think. But
Yeah.
we had to go through those changes to get here. So, you got to take the whole process in to get where you're at, supposedly. So we probably kind of took that a little bit to probably get them galvanized.
No doubt. It's unfortunate. It seems like that happens all the time throughout the NFL season, but you have to have it in order to get it rolling. John saying, Mike owns it. Much respect from this Hawk fan. How about that, Mike? A little love from the other birds.
I'm honestly gonna say, since I've been on a couple of weeks with Brandon on his channel, I've been getting a lot of Seahawk love, honestly. And I think they just feel bad for me, or they want to see me crumble and cry. I don't know what it is, but I've been getting a lot of them in the chat, so I appreciate Brandon. And then honestly, the Seahawks fans, because they're actually been really, really good, really nice.
We only talked the stuff before the battle, during the battle. Once the battle's done and we've vanquished, we don't have to rub it in.
Except tonight.
Just a little bit tonight.
I've always found it's easier to get love when you lose to the opposing fan base, and then they're always looking to give you the flowers. Speaking of which, Duce, Rams house, with what I would assume to be a sarcastic "What up, Z-Bot?" What up to you, Duce? As I said, look at coming out saying hello. I don't think Duce'd be saying hello to me if that game went a little bit differently. This is what I'm referring to. Right?
Not true.
Is that true?
They love you on my channel. They love you, and they should. And you came on my channel. Obviously I was on yours. We did the collab, and yeah, there were a lot of people like, "Oh, thank God you got Z-Bot." I was worried because we did that. We didn't do that late, so I don't know why people were worried. Of course, we were going to get Z-Bot on there. But
all right, well, hey, Duce, then that's on me. That's my fault. That's 2 L's to the Rams then this week. Me right there, and on Sunday.
Now I just need Brandon now. Then I have the Infinity Gauntlet of the whole, Because I missed you last time. I just totally forgot. Like the week went by and I was like, ah, shit.
Well, I figured you were in the baseball stuff going too. So I was like, he's probably overloaded at that point as well. With all
that's exactly what was happening.
Ruiz. He said, we told you, Mike, K1 not it. COD is back. That's why. Your favorite jokes, Mike. Those are your favorite.
It's going to keep happening, man. It's all good.
So are you out on Kyler? Like, are you looking at other quarterback? Like, where are you?
Season, baby. Hell yeah, I'm looking everywhere. Everywhere I'm looking.
Would you go Sam Darnold instead of Kyler if you can get him for cheap contract?
No, I'm not. I mean, I do want to. So a couple options. Either the Cardinals potentially, hopefully, draft a quarterback in the 2nd or the 3rd round. I'm cool with that. Or we could potentially bring in somebody that I'm not going to say rivals Kyler, but has somebody else besides Clayton Tune behind him. Because I feel like the Cardinals were very, very smart in the way that they approached this. There's a reason why when Kyler Murray got healthy, we shipped off Josh Dobbs. Now, again, Josh Dobbs only won 1 game with us. But same thing what happened with Desmond Ridder as well. They don't want that quarterback controversy. We just kept Clayton Tune, which is, I think, his 2nd year now. So what I would love to see is the Cardinals at least sniffing the idea of seeing maybe if there's any other possibilities out there.
Bring in Jameis. He'll kill him softly.
Oh my God!
Jameis is beating the Chiefs this week, folks. You heard it here first. I'm calling it right now.
I don't know.
Savage. Go ahead, Jake.
The Chiefs aren't losing. Like, I'm convinced. Like, I don't know what they did. I don't know if the hey Johnny, the devil with the I forget what the hell is it called.
Banjo.
It was the banjo. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell they did, man, but I watched Z-Bot's short. I refused to watch that game, by the way, because I knew how it would end. And I watched Z-Bot's short, and I was like, yep, that's exactly how I thought it would end. I was like, yep, I'm good.
Yeah, and if you go back, as I was streaming the game, if you go back, the second that the Chargers got to 3rd down and they were in field goal range, you knew, like you just said, you knew exactly what was going to happen. Unless you score a touchdown there, you're losing. And they are on their 3rd kicker. The guy was working at a Starbucks last week.
No way.
I don't know. I made that up, but he probably was. And
he kicked for us this year. He kicked for the 49ers this year. Yeah, he's one of the 3. Yeah.
He's the village bicycle, man. Everyone's had a ride.
No.
Jesse B was kicking for your 9.
Oh, not suitable for work. Holy.
You know what's so
kids, cover your ears.
If he had kicked that same kick for your Niners, he would have hit the upright. It would have fallen down to the turf.
Easy.
That's how it goes. Kansas City, that thing, I know. Anyone, exactly.
Anyone. And just like no one else is blocking that field goal with the Broncos. And that guy isn't getting his ass owned unless it's the Chiefs. And it had nothing to do with how good that guy was. I'm just telling you, the Chiefs have this, like, they're not going to win the Super Bowl. That is my big thing. but they will win every game the rest of the year at this rate.
Oh, God. Unexpected Savage. Lyle equals McDermott minus his culture building. And they're discounting that culture building, Jake. They're discounting it again.
I love McDermott. You will not give me a turn on that guy. I think he's one of the best. There's another guy, by the way, I left out in our little our segment with culture building. Kevin O'Connell. How would you not want to play with him?
O'Connell's like,
No doubt.
He didn't need to be on Sean McVay's staff and learn anything from McVay because he already had it. But you have those tendencies that he already had, and then he had the Sean McVay influence. He's a special dude. Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason they had that poll. The Vikings were like first or second the way they treat players. There you go. It's a culture.
And like I told you, it has been nothing but fire McDermott tweets for the last 2 days. They
Insanity.
had won 7 games prior to that game and lost by 2. So
Insanity.
it's incredible. Where are we at here? We got Sheeperton. Love that name, by the way. Was the Hawks O-line performance a one and done, Brandon?
Well, we're certainly benefiting from the fact that the Cardinals are missing any kind of real pass rush that they can supply outside of the cover zeros that they tend to have to probably run a little bit too much to overcompensate from the lack of guys they have off the edge. So you're able to benefit and look at your best against that Cardinal front. So it's a little bit of that helping it out. And I would say with running game, there was something we found. I spoke about it a little earlier. That's that counter gap, which with you having Abraham Lucas back and Sa'atoa back, a guy that's a convert from tackle to guard from college, you're having 2 guys that can move in space. And you run that gap counter, you're moving 2 linemen from one side of the field back to the other side of the field. You've got to have the movers who can do it and then hit their strike zones at the right time. And that freed up a lot of runs. And maybe it can be a building block that they can work off of as we go forward from at least the run game standpoint, because that just hasn't been there all year. It was, I will say as well, a little bit of a carryover from the Jets, where you didn't run the ball really well in that game, but they used some of this gap stuff in that game as well, and they were finding some of these runs sprinkled in there that were really good runs that had been missing and absent through most of the year. So that gives me a little bit of hope for this, but we got to put it in perspective for where that Cardinals defense, I think, has played really well this year. Don't get me wrong, Mike. I don't take anything back on that defense playing really hard. They did again this last week. I think it's just that, you say yourself, they don't have their pass rushers there to really challenge you, so it's not the best test.
I had said earlier that I hadn't seen many Lyle chats, and Dave wanted to make sure he got his in. He sends us 4 Fire Lyles in a row. So the win over the Bears did not do much in terms of changing Dave's mind on Lyle. Long live the king. Cheer up, Mike. Might I offer you a chilled bottle of Legino Charbonnet 2024?
Wow. That is clever as hell.
Oh,
that is
my
super
God.
clever.
Oh, man. Excellent work. Here's one, fellas. I saw this one earlier, so strap in because this is something here. Pitch for the panel. Any team that does not win the NFC West would wear an embarrassing costume representative of that team. For instance, the Rams would be a lamb, the Seahawks a chicken costume, Niners would be a baby costume for whiners.
What about the car?
Apparently-
I guess the.
Yeah, apparently,
No, he needs one. Put another super chat in for him.
We're good.
Yeah, what's the Cardinals one? I need to know.
so does this mean when you lose a game you wear it, or does anyone?
No. He's saying the division.
Yeah.
The division. Listen, maybe next year, but
Yeah,
at this point, when I've got almost zero chance,
Yeah, that's not fair.
absolutely not taking that bet at that handicap. But next year, I'm with it. Let's do it.
Well, you already got the 4. You said you
I
were
was gonna
lock
buy the
up
4.
You're like
$4.
4%. I mean, that's a strong 4%, Jesse.
Hey, listen, if the doctor told me that I had a terminal illness and he gave me 4%, I'd cling on to it. But for the football chances, no.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. The real cheese. I think he's saying Joe Burrow here. I'd take Joe Burrow over Allen. Okay. And especially Matt Stafford.
I love
Hey.
Joe Burrow, but I mean, dude, Josh Allen is an alien, as Sean McVay said. Did you see that, by the way? He called him an alien. That's what he is. The dude is LeBron James of the sport. He was built in a lab. I already said this. I mean, he's everything that you would know.
And that's not taking anything away from Burrow, because Burrow
No,
would
it's
probably
not.
be the MVP if they had the same record as the Bills. It's just that, I mean, you saw Allen rush for 3 touchdowns and 90 yards against the Rams, and Joe Burrow's never doing that. So that's how I always view it. If you want the whole package, I never understood how you could lean that way. But you're getting a great quarterback in Burrow, regardless. But
Burrow has always had, at least at worst, the second best receiver in the league at this point, right? He's always been there, and he's had Higgins to boot. Now Higgins has been in and out. I get that. Burrow is awesome. But there's when I go and I look at what quarterbacks can and cannot do, name me one thing that Burrow does that Josh Allen cannot. Because I can name a few that Josh Allen can do that Burrow just can't. He doesn't bring to the table. He doesn't have his arm strength, and he cannot run like Josh Allen. So what does Burrow do that Josh Allen cannot? I don't believe it exists. So yeah, give me Allen.
I'd go with one thing, but I'd say only one thing.
I was just going to
anticipation throws. Throwing with anticipation, I think Burrow is, but everything else I would give to Allen on that.
But I don't know that it's not. I don't know that it's the way Josh chooses to play. If you took Josh's legs away tomorrow and said, "Hey, just play quarterback without running," I bet you he can anticipate that way too.
He already wants to. He barely runs this year. Like he does not run anywhere near the level he used to.
It's not to say Allen can't throw with anticipation. He can. It's to say more that I look at Burrow as the best anticipatory thrower in the sport. It's more about that. So I think certainly Allen has plenty of ability to do it. That's where I stand with Burrow as far as that's his main skill set, because that's not a guy with a big time arm, or like talked about he has to play that way. And so some of he's gotten good at it by necessity. It's like the blind people getting better at hearing with their ears. It's a little bit of kind of
Tua and Purdy are the same way. Yeah, they throw with a lot of anticipation because they have to.
Well, and let's also give Josh Allen a lot of credit, because I think there are a lot of people that said, well, he has Stephon Diggs and he has Gabe Davis, and Gabe Davis left and has done absolutely nothing. And Stephon Diggs got hurt, but the point is he doesn't have either of those guys. Amari Cooper is still trying to figure out the offense, isn't fully acclimated with it. And he's taking this 5th rounder at Boise State in Khalil Shakir, and he's turning him into one of the more scarier guys in the league on third down. I mean, he is going to find the soft spot in the zone. He is a really, really heady player, but Josh Allen is making him better, and that is what Tom Brady did for everyone around him. I think right now that's what I'm looking at is Josh Allen has pieces. Brady had pieces at times, but Josh Allen is not playing with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And so I think that, while I've been a huge advocate of Joe Burrow getting him the respect he deserves, what I saw, against the Rams, Josh Allen, and I saw this when I was watching all the other games, Josh Allen's not throwing to these, all-pro receivers. Just imagine if he had a Puka Nacua and a Cooper Kupp, and, I mean, that's where I am, because I think Khalil Shakir is really good. But he does not have one guy that I would say is on the level of Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua. And if he did, those stats could be in the 6,000 range for passing yards. He'd be capable of it.
Oh, man, don't get me going. You can send them our way anytime, by the way, Jay.
No.
Send them our way anytime if you're feeling
No.
SoCal Rams. Man. Debo is just not getting the ball. And I saw I think he tweeted about it. Did he not, Jesse?
He did. He did. And he got ratioed by the community notes, which was hilarious. I don't know if you saw that.
That's hilarious. I didn't see it.
The community notes popped up under his tweet and said, he's leading the team in drops. He is, in fact, struggling. That's a real. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't. That was a real thing. Yes.
Hell
that might have been Dave running the community notes. I'm shocked he didn't throw a Lyle in there while he was at it.
Goodness gracious, man. That is talk about getting. You know what? I don't like Debo, so good. I didn't like the way he hit his the special teamer on the side. And Jesse's mentioned it multiple times. I've never seen somebody talk more shit after losing than Deebo Samuel. I've literally, the 49ers in general, I mean, Deommodore Lenoir, Deebo Samuel, I don't know what is this generation? We now have people that literally talk shit, but they lost. Like, I've never even heard of that.
It's crazy. Jake, speaking of, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Speaking of talking shit, I guess Dan's talking shit. He's saying it was a crap game.
I understand the rationale because you had the Lions the next week. But if you think McDermott was overlooking a game, that dude's by the book. That's why people don't like him, because he's not rah-rah. He doesn't do, crowd diving and all of that and whatever. McDermott is a straight line. He's exactly what he is all the time. He would never do that.
Yeah, it fits the criteria for a trap game, but 44 points is not the result because it's a trap game. Losing a tight game in a shitty way, I feel like that's how you lose a trap game. Allowing 44 points, that's a whole different ballgame. P. Jeezy, he's saying we got to put you on a time clock. Jake, I thought you were right on today.
He was quick tonight.
I tried.
I was expecting at least a 30-minute, like, just making me feel 10 times worse than I
Yeah,
am.
no. I got to be nice there, but also I wanted to be respectful of the other 3 people I share, this time with, and so I was doing that. And then, to be fair, like Z-Bot, you were asking me questions, and I was answering them. So
Try to blame Z-Bot.
I'm not blaming Z-Bot. I'm not blaming
I blame
Z-Bot.
Z-Bot.
Oh, you blame Z-Bot. Okay. Well, look, I don't give a rip because I think we all have a lot to say. And, I like when Mike gets his chance because I don't think Mike talks as much as either of us 3. But I think Mike has a lot of good things to say. And I think the Cardinal fans need him right now. Yeah. And I think you need a monologue on my level right now about why the Cardinals are going to win the Super Bowl next year and how they're going to turn it all around.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, Moses, part that Red Sea.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, man. That's great.
It's also back to the point I always make, too. I think everyone always talks more when you lose because you got way more to bitch about. I think after a win, it's kind of easier to keep it more concise. Dan's coming in, and he's basically saying the same thing. He's saying, where's the flag on the field for delay a game? Yeah, I mean, there was, where's the flag on the field for the false start on the Rams or the hold on Cooper Kupp? I don't know. Maybe there just aren't any.
Wait a minute. What about the double PI that I've never seen in my whole natural born life? What?
Oh my God.
And also it was Craig Rolstad. So I was more hyped to beat Craig Rolstad than the Bills at this point. I was so sour about him. And, I'm not going to get into the Craig Rolstad bit, but
you forgot the slight Cooper Kupp push off on the deep ball there, too, Z-Bot. But.
Hey now.
I'd have so much more issue with it. And I mean, I really wouldn't. I hate chalking it up to that. But Allen pulled off one of the greatest fake horse collars of all time. So it's like,
he did.
How can you?
And by the way, I want to say this because it kind of puts in perspective where I was. Because I know I come off as like, oh, yeah, he just is biased towards the Rams. I agreed, and I understand why Rams fans didn't. But I agree with the call on Byron Young. I don't know why he hits Allen there. I understand there. Even Tom Brady was defending Byron Young, saying his feet are in the air, whatever.
What a hypocrite, by the way. I couldn't.
Yeah, I know.
That. Oh my
but
God.
Hey, Tom Brady. Shout out to him. That was the best performance he's had all year. I think he's getting a lot better. And we're behind the mic, but we're not doing, that color that he's doing on the fly. I give him a lot of credit because he got so much flack. And he could have just hung it up. He's got all the money in the world, doesn't need to do it. He's gotten better each week, and I think he deserves credit for that. He and Burkhardt were fantastic and turned a game that, really was a big event that we found out was a big event on the fly, Z-Bot. I mean, I talked to Dan Mitchell, and he was like, I'm scared of the Rams. Like, before the game, we did a live stream right before the game, and he was like, yeah, I think the Bills are going to win, but I'm scared of the Rams. And I was like, I don't have that feeling like that, but whatever. He was right. But no, like that's the thing is that we didn't know it was going to be that event. And then it became that event and you saw Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady and that felt like a playoff game by the way they called it. Just by the way they called it, I felt the excitement and I felt like he was adding something to the broadcast, which I really enjoyed.
I agree with you. I thought it was a good performance. I think it's probably easy to do when there's 86 points.
That's true.
You know what I mean? They were loving it.
Oh, man.
Like when Shakir had that long touchdown, I thought Kevin Burkhardt was going to pass out. They were going nuts.
Yeah, no, it's funny.
Jordan's saying Rams can beat almost anyone, but they can almost lose to anyone. Just depends on the week. And we talked about this. That's what's been weird. They were so reflective of their record, Jake, the 6-6, because it's 6 great. You get half great and half good or bad. It feels like sometimes, but now we got great from the Rams on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Daza. The only reason this division is still open is because the Niners completely screwed the pooch when leading against all 3 of their division games. What do you think about that, Jesse?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a fluke, unfortunately, when they go 0-3 in that situation. They definitely, listen, the 49ers had their chances, and they blew it for sure.
Dave's coming in. Ernest Jones might be one of the most important season-changing mid-season trades I've seen in the last few years. I'm looking forward to the Wild West Series finale, LFG Hawks versus Rams for the crown.
Yeah, weekly thank you to Jake and you guys. Again, just thank you every week on that one, man. We got to drop back and cover. You guys told me he couldn't cover. Told me he's out of shape. You heard background rumors. I heard all this. I'm like, okay, tack pretty good. Got a pick. Star us off this week, man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you for that. Please stop. Don't pay any more in inside linebackers. We'll take it.
Dave, a little walk-in on why Lyle sucks?
It's easy, and you already know, Dave. Barclay. Everyone knows. Give him a lead. He's going to lose it. Get him out in front. He's going to fall down. You got the tortoise in the hair, and then you got Lyle. And we all know Lyle sucks. He'll never win anything. You know it, Dave. Jesse knows it, too, in his heart. He doesn't want to admit it and tells people, but he knows. Deep.
Well done. We've gotten like 5 Christopher Walkens tonight.
I know.
Gingy Gnome, put in Clayton Tune and let's see how he does.
Whoa. No, I don't think that.
Come on now. Look at, oh my God.
TVN, Stafford to Puka connection.
Damn.
Tyler to Kobe.
Damn.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Super brutal.
Megan again. Megan on fire tonight. Brandon meant that the Cosell request was for you. Would love to hear
I do a Howard Cosell as well. So yeah.
Oh, do you? Let's hear it.
What was her question again on the original that she wanted
To describe the view from the top.
Oh.
Yes.
As we enter the tapestry of what is the NFC West at the end of the season, we find our Seahawks up at a skyscraper's distance above the rest. Can they maintain the position? The answer from this broadcaster, Howard Cosell, is absolutely yes.
I hear the walking in there. I
like
I started with walking. I felt like he was going Peter and walking, but it definitely sounded like Cosell. I'm not gonna lie. He hit it at the end.
Christopher Cosell, man.
It's those
I'm
East
for
Coast
it.
accents, man. I'm a West Coast boy, so I only got that one East Coast tenor I can get into, you know. So
I hear you. My dad used to do that impression all the time, so it just brought me back.
Mark saying, I think it's safe to say the majority of this group wishes Pete was still the coach and not make the necessary adjustments to actually have a functional defense. Shout out to Coach Mack.
Listen, man, if he was an offensive coach, people would be jockeying what he's done this year. They'd be, he's the next genius in this league, and look at this. It's like, man, defensive coaches don't get the credit, but we all saw this coming. We're like, this guy is going to be a pain in our butts for years to come. So we'll see.
Perez coming in. Go Rams. Jesse looks like the big Lebowski.
Hey,
Duce, he's saying, Zeb, I wasn't poking at you. Much respect. Rams finally beat the Bills. No, all love, Duce. Of course, I was just saying, I think it's easier to say what's up and give some love after the W, because I know in my heart of hearts, it's way easier for me to do that too. Believe me. But much love to you, Duce. We appreciate you tuning in tonight. Rogers coming in. Jesse brought the fork last week. Rams bringing the broom.
Touche. We will see. We will
Shots
see.
fired.
If the Rams win, you know what I'm coming in playing.
That's all right.
You know. I mean, it's gonna feel weird because
I know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like, this is the only thing that sucks about this is that the Rams will win on Thursday if they win, and then I have to wait until Tuesday to play that song.
Yeah,
but I'm not playing the song now because I know Rams fans are already celebrating. And what have I always maintained? I'm not burying the team because they're not dead yet. And the 49ers, they might not, win the division. But if you think for a second this isn't going to be their get right game, get up, and this might be the all she wrote. This might be throw everything. I mean, come on. Like, you got Kyle Shanahan, who's best friends with Sean McVay. You always want to beat your best friend. There's the competitive nature there. And these two teams hate each other. Do you know what Matthew Stafford said in the locker room? Let's go beat the fucking Niners. That's what he said. Like, he didn't say, all right, Rams on 3, or family, or let's get a dub next. No, he said the Niners. These two teams despise each other, and the 49ers would want nothing more than to knock the Rams out of the playoffs. And this is how they would do it. I mean, I think if the Rams lose this game, they still have a shot, pretty good shot even, but it'd be sickening to lose to your rival like that.
Unexpected Savage meant for last week that Lyle has no culture. building.
Oh, he was saying that McDermott. Yeah. Lyle is the one that has no culture.
Yeah.
Yes. So we got Alex coming in saying, "Can we get a 12 days of Lyle-miss from Dave?" Wow, well, we already got 4 Fire Lyles in a row from Dave earlier, so he only has to give us 8 more, and then we can have the 12 days. Dave's coming in. I'm subscribing to you, Jake. I like your vibe. And
Hey, thank you.
Good deed with the force the good Lord above to let the Hawks snatch the division. So he wants to subscribe to you, and he thinks that will therefore result in some good vibes for him.
I like
I like that.
Yeah.
Hey, I had someone tell me if they subscribe to me, Mets fan, by the way, that the Lord would give them Juan Soto. And so, hey, Brandon, you should feel pretty good because we know how that went.
I'm with them on. I'm a believer of that stuff. I don't know what you want to call it or whatever. Just I don't know.
Take a penny, leave a penny, right?
Yeah, well, it's like you're just talking a second ago about not jinxing it. You know?
Yeah.
I had to leave it growing. We second Super Bowl. We're at the end after the throw to Jermaine Kearse. We're at the 2-yard line. She turns to me and she says, "We just won. We're gonna win the Super Bowl." And I said, "You just cost us the effing game." And she did. I maintained to this day, and I had to break up with her the next day.
Oh my God! I said it after the 28-3.
True story.
My aunt said they're done. It's over. When Brady threw that pick 6, it was over, and I said they're gonna win now. I said they are gonna come back and they are gonna win, and sure enough, they came back from 28-3. I don't believe in jinxing, but I like having fun with it every now and then. So
well, if it's really that easy, I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go subscribe to every Chiefs YouTuber. Harris coming in. Niners fans are quiet, which is nice. If I had to endure another Quest for 6 season, I'd shed my self-respect and become a Jags fan. Oh, come on. You got a little more respect than that, Harris. Come on. Radu saying, has Jake yapped about a Super Bowl contention yet? You did yap saying you're not going to say Super Bowl, Jake. That's what you did say. You said you're not going to get there yet.
Well, I do think they'll. If this offense continues, they're winning the Super Bowl. That offense can beat anybody. There you go. There's my yap.
Here's the 12 days of Christmas. It's just one bar from Dave. On the first day of Lyle screwed the pooch. Feed me more. We told you before the season, K1 is average. It feels so good to be right. And Mike, it's okay to be negative. Be honest, fans. Come and go. In 1923, the trophy case is still empty.
Yeah.
And Feed Me More is opening up his pockets tonight to let you know about those Cardinals. I'll tell you what, that's the second one where he's saying K1 ain't it. He's feeling it tonight. John's coming in. Watching Jesse when Josh Allen is mentioned is like Christmas for Hawks fans. Josh needs to be in the AFC, not the NFC West.
Dude, if Josh Allen somehow ended up on his childhood team that he rooted for, the San Francisco 49ers, you would never hear the end of it from me.
I would just tap out of reality. I would turn into ectoplasm.
I've always wondered what it would be if he was like in the NFC in general, because there really isn't enough. Like the AFC has all of that.
Yeah, 100%.
The toughest part about it, right? So that would just be, man, that would be crazy. Mark coming in. Cards need to adopt is this Cooged? The Cooged? Cooged nickname for obvious reasons. Clearly not obvious to me. Just like Wazoo, Zona gives their fans false hope. By the way, Rams suck donkey ball.
Damn.
No, we got a college here. It's WSU, and it's kind of the little brother to UW. So, but they're also known for. So when they come and play the Huskies, they don't have the recruits, so they always will put a good showing, but they'll lose at the end, and then the Husky fans say that they're cooging it. So that's the phrase he's basically using there.
By the way, the donkey ball is there. The use of the emoji was just chef's kiss. If it would have just said donkey, it wouldn't have been as funny. The emoji, they really took it over the top. Mike coming in. Jake, curious on your thoughts. If we might see Slim Reaper Thursday night, if Durant is out, him and Kyle might be interesting combo.
He's so tiny.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So a guy that I continue to call Emmanuel Mudiay, not on purpose. I just remember him on the Nuggets for whatever reason. Emmanuel Forbes is maybe 130 pounds soaking wet. Like, I don't even believe what is there. Like, if you will look at his legs, they are toothpicks. He's Kevin Durant, but he's not 7 feet tall. He's like 6'1". That's why they call him the Slim Reaper. That said, I do think he'll play a little bit. I don't know if he's going to start. I would probably say Akello Witherspoon and Darius Williams start. I think they'll use, I must have said Moutier again. They use Forbes a little bit, but also understand, like, this isn't baseball where you acquire somebody who's in the lineup the next day, right? Like, you have to learn the defense. And so I think if they give him a few snaps, okay. Would they have done it in the Bills game? No. There's a reason he didn't play in the Bills game, because they know they're not beating the Bills throwing out a guy that doesn't even know the defense. But if they give him a couple snaps against the Niners, I think that's okay.
We have Dave coming back in. He's saying Tyshawn is a punk. Fire him and Lyle in a package deal.
Who's Tyshawn?
Debo. That's his real name.
Oh,
Is it really?
Oh,
Wow.
I don't know. Did he say that in the wide receiver series? Because I must have missed. I would never have guessed
me
that.
neither.
Why did he switch his name from something cool like Tyshawn to fucking Debo?
That's just his nickname. Yeah, he just goes by his nickname.
Good God. I met him at the Senior Bowl. Seemed like a nice guy, but clearly the NFL got to him, and he's not the humble guy that I met.
Right.
Jake has two things that just
I
peeve
know.
him more than anything: Debo Samuel and Lions fans.
Well, Kirby Joseph has probably surpassed Debo
Oh
Samuel.
yeah, that's true. That's
Because, I mean, Debo hasn't been good enough for me to actually care about him. It's just more so a bit. But, yeah, Kirby Joseph's actually one of the better safeties in the league, as much as I hate to say it. But the dude's dirty as hell.
Radu is saying, damn, Jake, you got a 5-minute opinion on everything, including Debo Samuel and his name and whatever the hell.
Don't ask me about the weather.
R is coming in. Craig Rolstad can't get
Oh, man. I have Rams fans absolutely despising that guy because I made a video calling out his bullshit officiating before the Lions game.
He leads the league in first downs, right, on flags? If I'm
Yeah,
not
he's
mistaken.
so annoying. I just can't stand his face.
Dave was loving the Christopher Walken impression tonight, by the way, Brandon. So
Everyone
I wanted to
does.
Make sure you knew it. Yes, no
Agreed.
doubt about it. Gingy, now I'm just done seeing Kyler with these lazy plays. Like,
Yeah,
he's
well,
over.
since he's the only Cardinal fan, actually, let me kind of 30 seconds if we can. Yeah, I agree. I mean, but Kyler Murray has been very frustrating these last 3-game stretch. But, Clayton Tune isn't the answer right now. I think obviously the Cardinals are going to allow Kyler Murray to continue to make his stats look a lot better. And hopefully we got 2 winnable games here on paper. Let's see see how Kyler Murray finishes it out. But I agree with you. I'm kind of, I'm right there too.
Long live the king. Gentlemen, best player from each team most likely to depart in the offseason. As a Seahawks fan, I say maybe K9. That sounds like it's a long-winded conversation there, fellas, but a real quick thought maybe around the table. Start with
Debo.
you, Jake. Debo for you, Jesse. Jake.
For me, I mean, I don't know who is good enough to even say that would be a departure.
Kyron Williams. He might be gone. Yeah.
No, he's under contract.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay. I thought he was
Yeah,
a free
so
agent for
like,
some reason.
I don't even know who I would say. 1 sec here.
Stafford retiring.
I got mine. Buddha, maybe.
Stafford's not retiring. I can confirm. I don't even know, man. Like, to
What
be
about
honest,
Kupp?
no, I don't think they're going to get rid of Kupp. Sounds like he's interested in taking a pay cut to stay. Bobby Brown. That's what I'll say. If Bobby Brown walks out that door, that's a significant loss in the trenches. And they'll replace him with Ty Davis, who's had a great year. But Bobby Brown has been huge late in the game, so I would say him.
Aris is saying Mike looks like a kind of guy who owns a pug, and that's more interesting than his team. Like that's what he brags about at Thanksgiving. Quote, he's a good dog.
No.
I do not have a pug. I can confirm. I do not have a pug.
I didn't know owning a pug had a look. That's incredible.
Currently this.
I
Unibomb.
don't know.
I guess.
I grew up with pugs my whole life, and no one ever looked at my dad and said, "You look like a pug guy." You know what I mean? I have no idea. That's incredible. I love that. Dave's coming in and saying, Lyle loves donkey balls. In fact, he loves them so much he used 3 different types of balls to emphasize the point. Keep up the good work, guys. Dave, you keep up the
Thanks,
good work,
Dave.
brother.
Thank
keep
you,
it up.
Dave.
Rebel. Now the season is in December, and it's Rams versus Niners. Would we see Aaron Donald come back to destroy the Niners, Cards, and Hawks? We haven't gotten one of these chats in a while, Jake. Thoughts?
So now the season is in December. It's the Rams 49ers would like to see. I don't know if he's going to come back, but I wouldn't rule it out just because it's already paid for. Like it's like 20-something million against the cap. So he could come back and he's on their books and it'd be an easy transition unless he wanted another contract. But I don't really think it's going to happen. I don't.
We have ours coming back in again. Brandon's room got to smell like pierogies, I swear. Because of the accents or because of the impressions or just because that – do you have that pierogi type look, Brandon?
What's the pierogi? I don't even know what a pierogi is.
I have no either.
It's the dumpling thing, right? Like the cheese, like
the Ukrainian dumpling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a cheese dumpling. It's not just like Kraft mac and cheese in there. Like it's like it is like really authentic cheese. But yeah, it's That's
I don't think they really have a smell either. That's the other thing.
Yeah, it has no smell. You can't even. That is the most. Let's just take a word from the English dictionary. Let's just throw it out there because like pierogi. I don't think I've said the word pierogi in like 8 years.
I don't think I ever have.
There's no need for you to.
I would eat it. It sounds delicious.
It's good.
They're definitely good. Dave's saying Lyle is a stockholder in Viagra, but F's himself. See,
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of taking the Dave model, the previous super chat, just kind of stringing words together, and it winds up just being hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I be great? You can be great. And he's asking if we can pray for Debo because the dude tried to lie and got blasted by community notes. I gotta go take a peek at that after this.
He deleted the tweet. He deleted it.
That's worse than getting ratio.
Right? I've got a
That's
screenshot
worse than ratio.
My goodness!
You guys ever sit and wonder who's the community notes guy? Like who's doing that? Who's sitting?
Clearly a 49er fan.
Yeah, clearly. I don't know. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
Maybe in Silly, maybe in Sim Valley.
There's some of the most random ass people that are community notes people. So there is some bias, but there's also like just random people that
Well, there's definitely bias. Like when he pardoned his son the other day, and there was community notes, like literally just ripping the president. I'm like, it's like who's actually typing it out? I have no idea. I'd love to see because it can't be the same guy.
No,
the same guy going after Biden isn't the same guy going after Debo. You know, what I mean? It can't be the same.
No, they're the same person.
I know. Gingy Gnome. If we lose one of the next two games, fire K1. That's what he's saying. He's saying he's done. He's done.
Fire him.
You got two winnable games on paper. I mean, so you got to win these two games. Or already people are split with K1 right now. So it's going to get worse if you don't win these next two games.
Yeah. Radu, who the F is Bobby Brown?
That's my guy,
player, man.
He's a
and
really good player.
To Whitney Houston.
What?
Randy was married to Whitney Houston.
I see what you're saying. No,
it's my prerogative.
Bobby Brown is essentially a nose tackle that can rush the passer, can stop the run, and he's been highly effective. Seattle fans know because when they went for it on fourth down for God knows why, he was the wall that Kenneth Walker ran into.
Yeah, I don't know. Why
you good, Z-Bot?
Yeah, Brandon just started singing and no one caught it, and man, it killed me. I don't know why. It killed
Host
me,
down. Host down.
My God. I just don't know why that made me laugh so hard.
Are you going on the IR? Are you okay?
Oh no, I'm gonna make it.
Okay,
got
good.
3 more left, and we got 3 more left, and I'm getting the boost I need from PGZ, who's saying thanks, Z-Bot, for being a good host up until that moment. Salute to the panel and leave Mike alone. He's saying, leave Mike alone. He's a good guy, damn it.
I love
that old video, that old Britney Spears video.
He's a great guy.
Leave Britney alone. The real cheese. Hey, B, how crazy is it to take a swing at Parsons? Oh, that's an interesting one.
Chandler Parsons?
Not as crazy as Mike. We need some rebounds and defense, man. it may be something that's in play. Cowboys have got to decide if they're going to spend the money on Micah. So it's a possibility as far as if Cowboys are willing to make the move on it, and we've got a guy we can swing with on that side of it. So I'd swing it if it's out there. If the Cowboys want to.
Oh man,
I've never heard anybody call Micah Parsons. So the first thing I thought was Chandler Parsons.
I know, either. Oh my God.
He's just Micah, man. He's just Micah. Oh man,
That's killing it. These shows make me smile. Clearly, it makes us smile too, Dave. We're glad you're smiling along with us. Oh my God, that was great. And just like that, we're gonna put a bow on it, fellas.
Micah's gone, by the way, right? Can we all admit Micah's not gonna stay with the Cowboys? I mean, the dude walked off.
How can they do it without completely eviscerating the rest of the team? I don't get.
I don't know how they're gonna do it either.
He's so. I mean, I don't know. I know people are clowning Cowboys fans, but getting a blocked punt and then botching the recovery, I genuinely felt bad. I don't know if there's a worse way to lose a game.
Well, I'm thinking from his perspective what he might be trying to do here, because Jerry's got that track record with these guys where he will use that leverage play in a way other teams wouldn't with as far as the negotiations. And he pushes these guys to the nth degree to get them the money when they finally get their money. And maybe he's like, hey, I'm going to get out ahead of what Jerry does here. I know what his script's going to be, and I'll flip it on him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's just I don't know where the money's coming from, and I don't know even if they do pay him what that does for them because they have so many other holes. So it'll be.
He rooted for the Rams in the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. He's like, oh, they need linebackers. Maybe I could join them. And he got so much shit from Cowboys fans for that.
Well, that right there, Jake, is the reason why I wouldn't want to trade for him. Every week, if I got to listen to him on my team, hop on a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Do that. That's what it kills me. I don't know.
I hear you.
Aris is saying Jalen Walker to the Rams at Brandon. You're a pierogi.
We can end it there. End it there.
And Aris
just called him a pierogi.
Pierogies are effing delicious. You are delicious.
Hey, I'll take it.
All right. That's going to do it, folks. Hour and a half in the books. We appreciate it every second with you, and we really do thank you for tuning in this evening. On your way out the door, like button if you could, subscribe button if you could, and, of course, over on BetUS, which I'll show you one more time just because we have the updated divisional odds, and it is really right down right down to the wire. That's a tough one. Right down to the wire with the wire and the right. I don't know why that was so hard for me, but it is right down to the wire as I find my footing there. And we finally do have a team with minus money in front of them, and that is the Seattle Seahawks, who are currently the favorite to win it right now on BetUS. So I'll pull up the divisional odds as we round out here and go ahead and show you that the Seahawks currently are the favorite, but it's not by a wide margin. You also have the Rams sneaking up right behind them at plus 160, and you can guarantee that those odds will change one way or the other with that Rams game against the Niners on Thursday night. You got the Cardinals with the third best odds and the Niners down below at plus 1,800. So get in on that using the promo code YouTube150. That'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit and 125% on your next two after that. And as you know, fellas, my layout's there. I finally got it back. All right, that's going to do it. Much love to everybody for tuning in. For Jake, Mike, Jesse, and Brandon, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much for tuning into the NFC West Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.
Go Cards.
Go Hawks.